Are you friends with your shadow? Hi guys, I'm Laura, and in this video we're going to talk about shadow work, what is it, and how to do it. So we all have a shadow part of ourselves, and most of us have been ignoring it because we aren't actually aware that we have a shadow. We're not taught we have a shadow. So shadow work is the highest form of light work that you can do. What is it? What is shadow work? Well, it's working with your conscious mind to uncover the parts of yourself that you repress and hide from yourself. So the first thing you want to do is acknowledge that you actually have a shadow. And then once you do that, you want to learn to love your shadow and learn to become friends with your shadow. Or buddy, you know. So, what are the benefits of shadow work? Why would you want to do shadow work? Well, when you're doing shadow work, you'll feel whole or integrated as a person. You'll improve your interactions with others. You can also heal generational trauma. So we have generational traumas that get passed down to us, and you will be able to heal that. And you will also learn healthy ways to meet your needs. Now, what happens if you are ignoring your shadow? Well, you may self-soothe with drugs and alcohol. You may talk negatively about yourself. You may experience stress, and you may experience mental health difficulties like depression and anxiety. So this is why it's beneficial to acknowledge you have a shadow and start working with it. You can heal these like aspects of yourself through shadow work. So I've had things come up from my shadow that I was unaware of, and one of those things was the abandonment wound. I knew I was physically abandoned by my dad. I didn't know that there was physical and emotional abandonment. So turns out I have physical and emotional abandonment wounds that I was unaware of, and they were in my shadow self playing out. And it wasn't until I was actually listening to a podcast about the abandonment wound, and I had all these epiphanies that, I've got multiple abandonment wounds. So I was physically abandoned by my dad. I was emotionally abandoned by my mum. I also had another form of abandonment wound where when I was a kid and playing up, my mum would threaten to send me to live with my father. Although as an adult, I know she wouldn't have done that, but it's a form of, it's threatening to abandon you to try to get you to behave. So that's another form of abandonment. And I also was kicked out of home as a late teen, and that is also another form of abandonment. So these were all going on in my shadow self that I was unaware of, and they were playing out in my life. And so 90% of your transformation is awareness. So now I'm aware that I have this abandonment wound. It's not in the shadow now. I've brought it from the shadow into the light. I know about it, so now I can work with it to heal it. That's the other 10%, is working with it to heal it and to release. So I just wanted to add in that I actually have a good relationship with my parents, and it's not their fault. They did the best that they could from their level of consciousness, and I don't blame them for any of it. So moving on. Now, sorry, my cat's coming in, distracting me. Hello, little baby. So how do we do shadow work? Well, firstly, you want to review your childhood. The shadow usually has its roots in your childhood. So you want to review that and go within and question things. So another way that you can do shadow work is you want to notice when you judge, criticize, or blame, and pause. And then ask yourself, what in yourself are you avoiding by focusing externally? So that's one clue of what's going on in the shadow and what needs to be worked on. Another thing is when you feel jealousy, anger, or self-pity, you need to pause and ask yourself, what core belief is underneath this feeling? So we all go through these types of feelings, you know, jealousy, anger, self-pity, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all have these aspects to ourselves. But the difference is, instead of ignoring it and allowing it to be there, you stop, you pause, and you question, what is this really about? Because it goes deeper. Sorry, itching my ear. And you can also practice responsibility for your emotions and reactions rather than blaming others. So take responsibility for your emotions and reactions instead of blaming others. So that is 3 ways you can start working with the shadow and start questioning what's really going on here and what are the underlying issues. Fuck, sorry, I keep itching my ear. I swore, sorry. I need to not swear. Okay, so how do you spot your shadow in action? So there are 3 things: projection, triggers, and patterns. So projection is we project our shadows onto others. This could be repressed anger, shame, guilt, and other things we don't like about ourselves. This happens a lot online, and I guess a lot just when you're dealing with other people. People are constantly projecting from their ego, but they don't actually realize that is what they are doing. And you are probably don't realize that's what you're doing either. And it's okay. This is why we're making a video and talking about it, so we can learn and we can go within, friend our shadow, and heal. So triggers are a clue. Whenever you're triggered by something, that is a clue that there is something deeper going on in the shadow. So learn to look at triggers as your friend. Whenever you're in a situation you're getting triggered, like, try to just, instead of reacting to that trigger, try to remember, okay, the trigger's my friend. This is a clue as to there's something more going on in my shadow that I need to be looking at. So triggers are a reminder of a past trauma, and it's a reflection of a deep, unresolved wound. They come to open your eyes to the things that are suppressed. And the 3rd thing is patterns. So patterns are expressions of the shadow. You'll find aspects of your shadow self that will keep showing up in different situations until you are ready to look at them and break the cycle. So one pattern that I've noticed happening with me is I keep attracting narcissistic guys. But that's also a reflection back to my mother and my father and their relationship as well. So that's a reoccurring pattern. So I've now learnt that my shadow self had these abandonment wounds, and the abandonment wounds, I guess, caused me to become an empathic type person. That stems from the abandonment wound. Now, also what stems from the abandonment wound is a narcissistic person, and empathic people and narcissistic people attract each other. So, why am I attracting narcissists? Well, the shadow self revealed to me that I have abandonment wounds, which has caused me to be an empathic person, which is why I'm attracting these in. So this is why we do the shadow work, so we can learn deeper of what's going on inside ourselves. Sorry, my cat's over there playing with my curtain. So I didn't know I had these abandonment wounds, and I didn't know that was the reason I'm attracting in narcissistic people. And it's also, I didn't realize it's a reflection of my parents and their relationship. So we need to learn to break these patterns as well. So part of doing the shadow work is being able to acknowledge, like, oh, okay, I've got these abandonment wounds. That's 90% of the transformation. I've got to go do the other 10% of the work on how to heal the abandonment wound. And then when you heal this abandonment wound, you will basically stop attracting in narcissistic people. So what you need to do is, yes, start just going within, start noticing if you're being triggered, if you're, judging and criticizing others, and start going within and questioning yourself on a deeper level as to why, what's the underlying reasons, and why are you doing this. So take the time to connect with your shadow and work with it, because it's really beneficial to do this work for yourself. And when you start working with the shadow, when you start healing these parts of yourself, then again, what's going on internally will reflect externally. So when you're working with the shadow and you're healing these really deep rooted things that you've been unaware of this whole time, and you're able to bring it into the light and heal it, your energy field will change. Therefore, the outer reflection is going to change. So you're really worth committing and doing this work on yourself. I hope you like this video. I hope you understand what your shadow self is and what you can do to connect with your shadow self and start healing. I hope you guys liked this video, and feel free to like, subscribe, share, or don't, and have an awesome day. Peace, much love, and namaste.